Welcome to my world, bitch.
Welcome to the 165th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast.
So boisterously paranormal.
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show, and with me, as always, is...
Oscar Spector.
Producer extraordinaire and podcast co-host. Oscar, what has been going on with you, my friend, since our last podcast release?
I don't know. I think you should go first.
Serial killer update. I got nothing. That's why I passed it off to you.
I know you did. I know you have nothing. That's why I passed it on to you. Because I'm an asshole. I would say I have two little fun things. One is that, you were kind of part of the other one. One of them is that the Academy Awards just happened last weekend, as of this recording.
That's right. That's a big deal for you.
No. I mean, I watch it every year, yes.
But for your other show and your other podcast, and this is a big deal.
And in general, since I do invest a lot of time watching these movies throughout the year, so yes, a little bit. I know I used to give a shit more. You know, it's not like I give a shit anymore about who wins or loses. I just watch it for fun and, enjoy it. But that said, I had it at, it was an event this time. Instead of having an Oscar party, which I've hosted before at my house or apartment, I went to a bar that was specially hosting the thing.
Okay.
It was on the second floor of the Budweiser Brick House Tavern, I think is the name of it, over by Wrigleyville, basically. It's right next to it, the actual stadium. If you know that area.
Cubs Park.
Yeah, right there. It's right there. It's on the same grounds, on the same block of that.
I can't picture it.
Yeah, it might be a renovation that maybe wasn't there before, because I don't remember that when I went to high school. But I also, even though I live 5 minutes away from Wrigleyville, I don't actually go to the Cubs games anymore. So
yeah, no, it's horrible down there.
Yeah,
Wrigleyville. Yeah, you're right on Addison and Clark.
But I just don't care, So
what was it?
It's all sports bars there. I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But
what was it like?
So I made a reservation. I saw a TikTok that was announcing it, and I signed up that day. I was like, I'll make a reservation. I did it initially for two. I had other friends wanting to come, I was like, I'll try to change my reservation. They wouldn't let me. So oh shit, maybe it's packed or whatever. So I only went with my brother, who is a co-host on the other show. And when we went there, a lot of seats were empty. It was ridiculous.
Oh, no.
We could have totally invited everybody. So, but I think we spent the most money though. I must have drank four, let me see, I think it was 4 old fashions.
Yeah.
And 3 espresso martinis.
Oh, jeez.
That's all I drank.
Wow.
There.
How were you feeling at the end?
Surprisingly okay. I must have paced myself much better than I thought because I didn't have a headache or anything.
Or they were pouring light, one of the two.
You're right. The espresso martini was normal. I would say as strong as probably what I imagined. The old-fashioned, though, it did seem a little sweeter and lighter than it should have been. So you are right about that. But still, though, I drank a shit ton of them. But it was the deals that they had. And we enjoyed the Oscar party. We drew ballots in, and they announced the winner at the end for the people there. I didn't win. And but we had a great time watching the show. I had a DJ to intercut the commercials away with regular. Cool. It was like that kind of thing. I was so surprised. My favorite part about it, other than the ceremony, is that we were sat next to these 3 younger girls. They're 20-somethings, college age. And they were possibly enjoying the Oscars more than I was.
Is that possible?
They were screaming out, Nora, and the substance. They were screaming I want, it was I'm like, wow. And I was telling to Ralph, I'm so happy suddenly for this generation. There's some hope in here. Because, kids don't know shit, But, these girls knew the movie. They had real opinions on a lot of the picks and winners. I'm like, that's great. That's great. It's great to see that.
So were you happy with the results?
Overall, yeah, Nora, I love that movie.
Never seen it.
It's good. It's good. Right. It'll give you anxiety.
Was that Best Picture?
Best Picture, Director, Actor, Screenplay. Mm-hmm.
Who was the actor in it?
Mikey Madison.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a her though. Mikey sounds like a guy name, but it's the Honora character in the movie.
Okay. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes.
One of the Charlie Manson acolytes, one of the girls that gets killed at the end at the house with the dog and stuff.
Fucking love that scene.
One of them is Mikey Madison.
Oh, wow. And now she just won
Yeah, she just won Best
the
Actress.
Academy Award. Wow.
Yeah, that was cool.
Crazy, man.
So I did that. The bar was fun and all that, and made jokes. Also, man, I made jokes with the waitress, and she did not get my humor. I thought she thought I was being serious. But over the course of the night, though, she came on my side, I think, and she gave us free shots out of the blue. So ended up being okay. But that was I gotta watch out because my humor sometimes doesn't work with everyone. Other than that, but you did an Oscar thing too, right? So
No, we just happened to be out at a bar. Me and one of my buddies, and the Oscars were on TV.
So
we didn't go out specifically for that. It just happened to be.
Got it. Did you watch the whole thing though, or just watch part of it? Okay.
No, just little bits and pieces. We went to a bar in my town where a TV show, Bar Rescue, with John Taffer. It's a show we watch. He had redone this bar maybe 6 months before, so I'm like, I want to go check out this bar. That's it. That's what found us out on that night, and so I watched some of it. But
yeah. Got it. Okay, I misunderstood that because you texted me. We were texting that night, and you said you were out in the bar watching the Oscars too. I'm like, so I thought you were doing the same thing.
I also had about 7 old fashions, so I was.
That sounds right.
Feeling pretty
warm.
Yeah,
pretty warm.
Let me just as an aside, down there by Belmont and Clark, by Wrigleyville, is the Cubby Bear still there? Right on Addison and Clark.
The bear is a statue. I don't know.
The Cubby Bear, the big huge bar right on the corner there. Did you know?
Oh, it must be. I think so. A lot of things are renovated since I used to go there because I used to go there every weekend to drink when I was in my 20s.
When we were younger too. Well,
but that was 20 years ago.
I
don't remember.
my wife used to work there, and while she was working at the Cubby Bear, that's where she met Bruce Willis and his band.
Oh, that's funny.
John Goodman was there. She said he was passed out. Was it? Oh shit, John Goodman or who's the one married to Roseanne? Tom Arnold. One of those two were passed out fucking cold in the alley.
That's funny.
And she wound up being Bruce Willis's merch girl for the night.
That's awesome.
So I got a hat. She got me a hat signed by Bruce Willis.
That's cool.
I mean, how many people could say they have something signed by Bruce Willis? I don't know. I'm assuming that wouldn't.
I don't know how prolific he used to be when he was bigger.
Yeah, I'm into collecting autographs.
Oh, I know that.
I don't really see Bruce Willis out there.
I guess you would know that world more. Yeah. So that makes sense.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I haven't run into it.
You don't have one of the 5 elements signed by him?
No. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But anyway,
I used to go to Cubby Bear specifically a lot. There was this cover band there. Could not remember the name. I used to follow them when they bar hopped on the weekends and did music and stuff. That was crazy.
Cool. Yeah, it used to be fun. Yeah. What was your other thing?
The other thing is that I also, the night before that, I went to my first in a long time rave.
Oh my God.
Yeah, as a 41-year-old. But I gotta say, I wasn't the oldest, although I was definitely one of the oldest.
First of all, was it in Chicago?
Of course. It was in, I forget the towns, I'm sorry. It was on Lincoln and something, I don't remember. But yeah, it wasn't too far from me. It was like 10 minutes away.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was planning on going there all night, but I I did 4 hours dancing.
Jesus.
And then I got like, okay, my feet hurt now. I'm going to go home now.
Time for aspirin in bed.
Yeah.
Were you
my knees hurt the next day.
Were you on anything?
No. No, I was not on. I drank a bit, but I didn't drink that much either. I just wasn't feeling that. So, but I did that, and that was fun.
Wow, yeah. I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the last time I did it, I was on X, for sure. But I was like...
Kids just say no.
Oh, no, I don't. I do it once. That's fine.
No, kids just say no.
Do it once. It's fine. Live a little.
Well, that's fun.
Although I really would like to try Molly one day. But,
Jesus Christ.
But also, I don't have to. It's fine.
As I'm ready to pop a bottle, I'm telling kids just say no.
There was a theme to it. It was a hippie night themed. So I have these like sunglasses and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you, party animal.
Yeah. So I played a lot of that era music but a lot of techno, though. A lot of EDM versions of it. So, yeah.
Ugh, gross.
Hey.
Not a fan.
It's fun.
Not a fan. Usually by 9 o'clock, I'm on my chair sleeping.
Mm-hmm. I know.
So good for you, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm just enjoying my singleness.
Don't grow old. Right. Oh, there you go. That's
what I'm doing. I'm just enjoying every chance I got. So yeah, that's what's been going on.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you've been up to some shit. I'm going to live vicariously through you. I haven't been up to anything. Just work.
That's okay.
Just adulting.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I have to do it too. I hate it, but I have to do it.
Yeah. I do have a new bottle of whiskey. I don't know if...
Tell us about it.
If that counts for anything.
Yeah, well, no, it does count.
In my boring
I really come here to drink. I really don't care about the podcast.
Well, I got you covered. Look at all this.
Yeah, you do.
This one is a Ben Holiday 6-year bottled in bond. It's the soft red wheat. Okay. You might like this one because in this whiskey's mash bill, what makes up this whiskey,
right?
They've replaced the rye with wheat. So there should be like a softer, sweeter drink for you. Mm-hmm. But, one of the things I really enjoy about whiskey and bourbon is the story behind these bottles and the distilleries. And so this one in particular, this goes back to 1856, the Holiday Distillery from Weston, Missouri. 1856. It actually has it stamped on the bottle here, down at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I do see it. Yeah.
Etched in there.
Was it etched in 1856?
Dude, that would have been cool.
That would have
been really nice. So this distillery, since it's from 1856, it makes it both the oldest distillery in the state of Missouri and the oldest distillery west of the Mississippi still operating on its original site.
Okay.
Never moved. I mean, that's where it was in 1856. That's where it still is today.
Okay. They probably still have the old machines there as like
I'll bet you they
museum
do.
Pieces or
something. Yeah, a lot of the distilleries do.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, when I went to Kentucky, I saw a lot.
That's right, because you did the bourbon tour. Mm-hmm. You did the bourbon tour, yeah. Now, this Holiday Distillery sits on an active limestone spring, which was first chartered by Lewis and Clark, actually, back in 1804. Wow. So I'm sure that water from this limestone spring from 1804, when it was discovered, is used in the distilling process. Really? Whiskey. So that's kind of cool. It's a cool story,
Did you know that back when Lewis and Clark were still around, they talked to their press, their agents, and they were like, "Oh, they should be alphabetized first." So it was Clark and Lewis while they were alive. But history has a funny way of putting it to Clark and saying Lewis and Clark. Did you know that?
I didn't have that in my notes here.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
So then little history factoid.
Okay. Where did I leave off? 6 year. That spun me out of control. We've mentioned on the show quite a few times. I enjoy bottled in bond whiskey, and we never really mentioned what the bottled in bond means.
Yeah, one of your bottles is similar to one I got that's also bottled in bond. I don't remember which one.
Up here? Yeah, you got to sift through all these bottles.
Something Town. Bardstown, Jonestown, not Jonestown. Bardstown, that's the one, I think.
Yeah. Bardstown, right there. You see it?
No, it wasn't that one.
Bardstown.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyway, so the Bottled in Bond Act, this is important. I enjoy Bottled in Bond because I like the story behind it. This act was established in 1897, and it was to guarantee that what people were buying was actually whiskey. It wasn't like fucking bathtub shit, stuff that would make you go blind. Okay. So the government stepped in and said, now there's rules. If you want to call it whiskey, there's rules. So to be labeled bottled in bond, like this bottle is, whiskey has to meet 3 criteria, okay? The first criteria, it's got to be the product of a single distiller in a single season, spring, January to June, or fall, July to December. It has to be aged a minimum of 4 years in a federally bonded rickhouse where they store all the barrels on site at the distillery. And it has to be bottled at 50% or 100 proof in the same location that it was distilled to be labeled bottled in bond.
Okay.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, the cool thing, not only with this holiday whiskey, not only is it bottled in bond, but it's classified a real Missouri bourbon. And that's capital R, capital M, capital B, a real Missouri bourbon, under a 2019 law requiring that any whiskey labeled as Missouri bourbon must not only meet the federal standards of bottled in bond, but also be mashed, fermented, distilled, aged, and bottled in the state of Missouri, aged in oak barrels manufactured in Missouri, and just beginning January 1, 2020, it has to be made with corn exclusively grown in Missouri.
Now,
so
some of those
highly regulated for this bottle.
So it does seem like the height of ego, though, a little bit, these rules, right?
I don't
because
know if it's
some things doesn't matter where they come from.
It's purity.
Like the oak barrel, it doesn't matter if it's from Missouri or not, right? It doesn't actually matter. The corn, probably not. After that, sure, I can see some of that. Sure, I get the regionality of it. But overall, not everything, right?
I'm wondering.
It's like the label maker has to have been born in Missouri. You need to that birth certificate that they,
Well, I'm wondering if barrels made from oak that was grown in Missouri has different flavor profiles than oak that was raised from trees made from trees raised in a different state, like Kentucky. I wonder if there's actually a flavor difference between those two oaks, and I don't know.
Right.
But I'm wondering. I wonder.
I don't know.
Just like the soil that raised the corn specifically in Missouri, I'm sure gives it a different taste, different makeup than corn grown in Kentucky. You know
I don't
what
know. Yeah. I don't know.
Or just like the water coming out of this one specific limestone spring.
I'm pretty sure you can replicate soils.
Absolutely, it's got to taste different than if I turn my faucet on here, right? So it makes it very unique, makes it different.
Yeah.
Just like Driftless Glen is another whiskey brand from up northern Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's in the Driftless region of Wisconsin where very specific glacial activity
also
happened.
I grew up also thinking
soil
that
and the water different flavors.
Yeah. I also grew up thinking that bourbon was exclusive to Kentucky. The name.
It's not.
Oh, but my point is that I thought it was exclusive in the sense like bourbon can only come from there and whiskey is everything else. Or something like that. I don't remember the exact way I heard it, but I heard many times throughout my life that that's the case.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have. But
it's like cognac. Cognac comes from the small town of Cognac in France, technically. Right. Anything that isn't cognac is something else.
I see.
You mean?
Yeah.
Technically. Like in a technical way. Not like reality, but call it whatever you want. But.
Yeah. No,
I mean, I'm not against it. It's a bourbon to me, but that's what I heard. I don't know. Thought maybe you knew.
Yeah. I'm just checking this bottle here. Yep, bourbon whiskey. I don't know. Do you want to try it?
I mean, yeah, please. That's the reason I'm here.
I know this isn't a whiskey review podcast, but
you're so close to starting one.
And I don't have any news to speak of, so let's finally open this. I've been dying to try this.
Oh, we're all dying. Oh, dreaded.
That is not a screw top.
It is.
It's a screw top.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Dreaded. You can tell by the ribbons. What?
That smells good.
Really? Okay.
It really does smell good.
All right,
I'll give you this one, but it's a screw top. I can't believe that.
That's what people call me in college.
Screw top. All right, there's yours.
Thank you.
Give that a smell, dude.
Oh, hey.
Right?
Hey. Okay, it wins smell. That's 10 out of 10 on the smell. Or 9 at least. It's not aftershave.
Oh, it's every bottle. Every time there's a drip down the neck of the bottle, I always take it and put it on my face like
It's funny, when I do that, I just lick it. I just take more.
Every time.
Just want more in me.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Tink.
Here we go. That smell is wonderful.
Yeah, it doesn't feel pretty.
I smell apricot, vanilla, tasting, corn for sure. Real strong corn. Oh, you know what? Remember my nosing kit from last episode?
I do. It's Missouri corn. You can tell.
The wheat. Smart ass. Here, smell this. Smell this wheat. And then take a sip. All day long. Oh, God. Vanilla. baking spice, maybe.
What's that spice they put in? Or it's similar to what they put in that fire thing. What's it called? Fire. What am I thinking of? That whiskey that's like a fire something.
Fireball?
Fireball.
Oh, cinnamon?
Maybe, but not cinnamon. Not maybe something lighter than that. Some version of that, maybe.
I'm thinking like a baking spice, like an allspice. Here.
I don't know. Coriander.
Try this.
Rooibos.
Smell
Vanilla rooibos, maybe.
It's allspice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's more like it. Something
Allspice,
Christmassy.
see? Allspice. I am a big fan.
I like it too. I'm
a fan.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have more.
All right. Ben Holiday. Soft red wheat, bottled in bond. Listeners, go out and catch it. Catch it? Get it?
Yeah, catch it like AIDS.
Oh, fuck. And on that note, it's made it uncomfortable.
How is that uncomfortable?
Let's take a break.
People don't... You know about AIDS, right? Anyway, let's take a break.
You know about AIDS, right? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I need a point to cut off from the show. There's no cutoff point.
That's great.
All right.
Listeners, welcome back to the show. Well, the lights are turned down low. The ceremonial candle is lit. And the drinks are flowing. Let's start this show. So, tonight, we're taking you deep into the psychological blueprint of power, deception, and evil. The Dark Triad. Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. 3 sinister traits that, when combined, create the ultimate manipulator. They walk among us, charming, ruthless, and completely devoid of remorse. From leaders of industry to serial killers. Tonight we're uncovering the masterminds who have shaped history through lies, control, and pure malevolence. How could you spot them before they pull you into their web? Let's find out.
Okay.
Now, the Dark Triad is a psychological framework that identifies 3 interrelated yet distinct personality traits associated with manipulation, dominance, and lack of empathy. Now, those traits are narcissism, or a person's tendency for grandiosity, self-obsession, and entitlement.
And mirror budget.
Mirror budget?
Yeah, you look yourself in the mirror a lot.
Oh,
you buy a lot of mirrors.
Yeah. Narcissist. The next trait of the Dark Triad is Machiavellianism. That's a tough word to say. I got 15 pages of that word.
Really?
Machiavellianism. I was contemplating, is it Machiavellianism or is it Machiavellianism?
It's definitely the former.
Machiavellianism. That's ugly. Well, Machiavellianism, or someone that is cunning and an expert at the art of deception and manipulation. And finally, there's psychopathy, a person that displays an utter lack of remorse and is incredibly impulsive and emotionally cold. Do you know anyone like this, Oscar?
Yeah, I think myself, probably, based on these scores.
Fuck. I'm going to take your drink away.
Nope.
Now, can't get enough. The concept of the Dark Triad was first introduced by psychologists Delroy Paulus, or Paulus. I'm going to say Paulus.
Okay.
Paulhus. Paulus.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I go with that.
Delroy Paulus and Kevin M. Williams in 2002 in a paper they wrote called The Dark Triad of Personality, Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and Psychopathy. Now, Paulus and Williams developed the Dark Triad model to better understand individuals who exhibit socially destructive behaviors, yet still function in society. So they're fucked up, but they still function fairly normally in society. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, unlike previous studies that primarily examined extreme cases such as serial killers, this research aimed to explore how these traits manifest in everyday life. They focused on their presence in workplaces, in toxic leadership, corporate fraud, and backstabbing colleagues.
Yeah.
In relationships where manipulative partners and emotional abusers exert control. And in politics and power dynamics, where they highlighted figures like dictators and corrupt officials. Now, through their research, Paulus and Williams discovered that many with Dark Triad traits are not criminals, but in fact highly successful people in politics, business, and entertainment. Now, the Dark Triad is significant for 3 key reasons. First, it helps identify dangerous individuals, including toxic leaders, manipulative partners, and high-functioning criminals, before they cause harm. Second, it plays a crucial role in criminal psychology, profiling, and forensic analysis, providing insight into serial killers, or white-collar criminals, and political figures known for their manipulative behaviors. And lastly, the Dark Triad offers valuable perspectives on workplace and leadership dynamics, as research shows that many CEOs, and we've talked about this before on the show, exhibit Dark Triad traits, like psychopathy.
Yeah, I mentioned like surgeons have this kind of cold
Detachment
empathyness. They have none of that to do their job, which kind of brings in this kind of like attitude. They're pretty
I am
ego.
God.
Right? They have power over death.
Not that there's anything wrong with surgeons, but...
Oh, no, I think there's a lot of things wrong
y'all
with surgeons.
fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so these CEOs who exhibit these Dark Triad traits, often using ruthless strategies to climb those corporate ranks, man.
Right. It's like that, there's a saying, not a well-known saying, but a saying that I hear every once in a while that feels right, even though it probably isn't, is that if you're a certain amount of rich, let's say $1 billion, and it's definitely $1 billion, but let's say millions, you're a millionaire, you had to fuck over somebody to get there. It's like that's, I'm sure that's not 100% right, but it feels right.
Especially if it's generational wealth. Maybe not you, but someone in that line fuck somebody over.
Right.
Right. I'll bet you that's a pretty solid truism.
You're right. It feels true anyway. Mm-hmm.
Now, whether in business, entertainment, politics, or crime, the Dark Triad fuels manipulation, ambition, and ruthlessness, often leaving destruction in its wake. Those who score high in these traits excel at deception, exploitation, and domination, operating without guilt while using their charisma to conceal their true motives. They manipulate behind closed doors, orchestrating deception on a massive scale. But how do these traits manifest in real-world figures? Who are the masterminds that embody all 3 Dark Triad traits? And most importantly, how can you protect yourself from them? How do you stay out of their web?
Right.
Now, before we get into the who of the Dark Triad, let's talk about the what. What's at the center of these Dark Triad traits? So let's start with narcissism, or I call it the cult of self-obsession. At the heart of narcissism lies an insatiable hunger for admiration, status, and power.
Okay.
Narcissists believe they're superior to everyone around them. They think they're entitled to special treatment and that they should be immune to criticism. They build their ideas on grandiosity and dominance, thriving on exaltation while crumbling under scrutiny. High-profile narcissists often climb the ranks of politics, business, and entertainment, commanding attention through their larger-than-life personas. Their charm and confidence seduce masses, but beneath that surface lurks a fragile, tiny little ego, prone to tantrums when their authority is questioned. While narcissists, they seek glory and validation, their lack of self-awareness and tendency to blame others make them dangerous in leadership roles. So some key narcissists out there today in history, right? We got to talk about Ye.
Who?
Kanye.
Oh.
Isn't his fucking name Ye now?
I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I only know one single of his.
Kanye.
I really don't know much about
There's
the guy.
people out there right now being like, yup, narcissist.
Oh, no, I know he
100%.
is one based on what little I hear about, but I definitely have never thought about the guy. Really.
Yeah, he's a prick. He's an asshole. Now, Ye, the rapper, producer, and fashion designer, known for his music, controversial statements, and influential cultural impact.
And Naked Girlfriend.
What's that?
And the Naked Girlfriend.
Oh, at the, was it Oscars?
No, it wasn't the
was
Oscars.
naked?
It was Grammys or Emmys, one of those.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a jerk off. He exhibits extreme self-importance. He often compares himself to historical greats like Jesus and Picasso while lashing out at anyone critical of him.
Right.
Ye exemplifies narcissism within the Dark Triad through his grandiose self-image, constant need for admiration, and lack of accountability.
Yep.
He frequently proclaims himself a genius, right? Picasso, Jesus, genius, fuck you. His egocentric behavior, public outbursts, and disregard for criticism highlight an inflated sense of superiority. Ye's relentless self-promotion, inability to accept fault, and tendency to dominate all conversations and narratives reinforce classic narcissistic traits.
Yeah.
Prioritizing personal acclaim over collaboration or humility.
Yep.
Zero humility here, right?
Yeah. A lot of famous people in power have this problem. Yes.
Do you know who Elizabeth Holmes is?
That name sounds familiar, but no, not offhand.
So there was a I think it was a Netflix documentary about her.
Okay.
She's a narcissist in the fact that she was a CEO at a now defunct company called Theranos. And I'm trying to remember the series that was on TV because it was fantastic. Fuck. Anyway, Elizabeth Holmes's narcissism was evident in the cult of personality she built. She modeled herself after Steve Jobs, even deepening her voice, and she wore these black turtlenecks, just like Steve Jobs.
Really?
All the while refusing to admit failure, even as her company, Theranos, her technology was exposed as fraudulent. She projected this air of invincibility and demanded unwavering loyalty from her employees. Again, this cult that she built at Theranos.
You know, that sounds like the made-up company of Lumen in Severance.
Oh.
It was like they have very similar, except that they're successful.
Yeah, no, she crashed and burned hard.
Yeah.
She manipulated the media to sustain her image of genius.
So it's like a terrible place to work.
Yeah, even as Theranos crumbled because its fake blood test technology led to misdiagnosed illnesses and false hope for terminal patients. Elizabeth Holmes, all this time, she maintained that air of invincibility, prioritizing her legacy over the well-being of patients and investors. And in 2022, she was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 11 years in prison, which made her case one of the most significant corporate scandals in the 21st century.
Yeah, I think she was
Narcissist.
Narcissist. I mean, talk about delusion. That's really what I think of that. She's just
narcissist, delusions of grandeur, right?
I just think delusional. That's
In
it.
general.
Yeah. We both drank it
As we both went to, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, it smells so good. Okay, I just want to rub it all over. So that was narcissism. The next Dark Triad trait is Machiavellianism.
Nice.
Machiavellianism. Now, Machiavellians are strategic manipulators who pursue power without regard for ethics. They are experts at the art of deception. Named after Niccolo Machiavelli, whose 16th century book, The Prince, outlined ruthless political tactics, Machiavellians lie, they exploit, and they deceive to achieve their goals. And unlike narcissists, they don't seek admiration. Machiavellians seek control.
Yeah, results, control. Yeah, very much.
They orchestrate backroom deals, they manipulate narratives, and they weaponize deception. Thriving in politics, intelligence agencies, and high finance, Machiavellians excel where secrecy and cunning are key to success.
Yep.
So let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know much about the guy, but yeah.
Perfect Machiavellian. Now, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, billionaire financier and convicted sex offender who ran an elite sex trafficking network.
Right.
Using his wealth, immense wealth, powerful connections, and manipulation to exploit his victims, all the while maintaining influence over powerful people.
Yep.
He embodied Machiavellianism in the Dark Triad through strategic deception, calculated networking, and control tactics. Epstein built influential alliances using blackmail and secrecy to protect what he was really doing. Manipulating behind the scenes, Epstein concealed crimes under a facade of legitimacy, prioritizing power, control, and extreme self-interest over any sense of morality. Zero morality.
Yeah.
Then we have let's talk about the media mogul, Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
Heard of Rupert?
Of course.
A media mogul, as I said, Rupert Murdoch shaped global narratives and influenced elections and policies through his vast media empire. He exemplifies Machiavellianism in the Dark Triad by strategically using his media to serve political and financial interests. Murdoch manipulates narratives, fostering division while maintaining global influence. He prioritizes power and profit over journalistic integrity, leveraging misinformation and sensationalism to control discourse.
Yeah.
His calculated alliances and business tactics reflect a ruthless pursuit of dominance, favoring manipulation, deception, and long-term influence over ethics.
Yeah, it reminds me of also Robert Moses. There's another character like this. Robert Moses was the, I forget his actual title, but he was the de facto, not owner, but basically owner, leader of New York City during the 20th century, early to mid 20th century. He built everything that we know of New York, all the parks, all the buildings.
No idea.
He had very expensive, very controlling, power-making things, and he hated minorities, so he hated all public transportation, things like that. So he used his effort and control to really control everyone. The mayors never had any power over him.
Wow.
Even though he was like, they were his boss, never was. He was like the parks planner, whatever his title was. He was there for like 40 years.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, countless cases throughout history of people like this, But probably the most scary trait from the Dark Triad is psychopathy, the absence of conscience.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Is this scariest for you or just scariest for in general? Like
I think in general, just these cold, calculated, no remorse, no feeling, I'm going to get what I want, and that's it.
Yeah.
Do it with the expense of others, I don't care.
Right.
So psychopathy, it's the most dangerous, I think, of the three Dark Triad traits. Psychopaths lack empathy, guilt, and remorse, making them capable of cold-blooded actions without hesitation. They can be charming, but their charisma is a mask, concealing a true predator underneath.
Right.
Now, unlike narcissists who crave admiration and Machiavellians who seek power, psychopaths just crave dominance and chaos. They're risk takers, often found in high-stakes environments like Wall Street or law enforcement or organized crime.
Right.
So think about like Ted Bundy. Perfect psychopath.
Or the Iceman.
100%. Yeah. Bundy, we'll go with that since that's what I scripted here. Although we should do an episode on Iceman Kuklinski. It's fascinating. Now, Bundy, if you don't know, a notorious American serial killer who brutally murdered at least 30 women in the 70s.
Yep.
Though the true number of his victims, it's really unknown. But his crimes spanned multiple states, making him one of the most infamous figures in criminal history. Bundy used charm, deception, and manipulation as powerful tools, allowing him to lure victims into this false sense of security before attacking and viciously murdering them.
Yeah.
Often faking injury or posing as this authority figure, Bundy exploited human empathy to gain trust, demonstrating a calculated and predatory intelligence. Now, his ability to evade capture for years showcased his deep understanding of psychological manipulation. He repeatedly escaped from custody, including a jailbreak in 1977, which allowed him to continue his violent killing spree.
Right.
His remorseless, psychopathic nature was evident in his cold detachment from his crimes, even as he recounted them for authorities with chilling detail. No remorse. He exuded this superficial charisma, deceiving not only his victims, but also law enforcement, the media, and even those closest to him, including a longtime girlfriend who remained unaware, supposedly, of his double life for years.
Damn.
That's what a lot of these guys do. Gacy, Bundy.
Right, they have families and shit, yeah.
BTK, which we'll talk about, same thing. Now, Bundy embodied the Dark Triad trait of psychopathy through his utter lack of empathy, his impulsivity, callousness, and utter disregard for human suffering. Bundy's ability to kill without remorse, coupled with his charm and calculated deception, cemented his status as one of history's most infamous serial killers. Going back some, there's Joseph Stalin. Stalin, who ruled the Soviet Union from 1924 to 1953, to maintain absolute power, Stalin orchestrated purges and forced labor camps, or gulags, famines, mass executions, resulting in an estimated 20 million deaths.
Yeah, he was a little paranoid.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
He exemplified psychopathy within the Dark Triad through his extreme ruthlessness, lack of empathy, and manipulative control. Stalin showed zero remorse for mass suffering, eliminating all his perceived threats without hesitation.
Yep, until his death, yeah.
His grandiose self-image, paranoia, and disregard for human life reflects classic psychopathic traits, prioritizing, again, power over morality. We have Gary Ridgway. He was the Green River Killer. Serial killer who murdered at least 49 women, they say, primarily in the 80s and 90s. He targeted vulnerable women. He strangled them, disposed of their bodies in wooded areas or rivers. He evaded capture for decades until his 2001 arrest. And Gary Ridgway exemplified psychopathy in the Dark Triad, again through his lack of empathy, emotional detachment from his crimes, and his manipulative nature. Ridgway, again, showed zero remorse for his crimes, and his calculated predatory behavior and complete disregard for human suffering reflect classic psychopathic traits, prioritizing personal gratification over morality or empathy. Now, those are kind of individual traits highlighted in key figures in history.
Right.
What happens when you get all three traits in one person?
Well, I think Stalin might fit that.
And I think a lot of them could too.
Yeah.
A lot of the ones
I would say Stalin is the perfect three.
Well, each trait it's clearly dangerous on its own. Some individuals embody all three, making them exceptionally lethal, dangerous. Now, these figures blend the grandiosity of narcissism, the cunningness of Machiavellianism, and the callousness of psychopathy, making them manipulative masterminds. So think of, and this one might be controversial, Donald Trump.
Not controversial at all. It's pretty obvious.
Our U.S. president.
Yeah, it's obvious.
He's infamous for his arrogance and vanity, his obsession with loyalty. Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah.
And his relentless need for praise. I don't think this is anything out of the ordinary.
No, not at all.
And he doesn't handle criticism.
Nope.
Right? Oh, at all.
No, and pretty instantaneously, too.
Right. Now, through his observed behavior, remember, this is observed behavior. He's not clinically tested for the Dark Triad.
Well, of course not.
Right? Okay, but I just wanted to, maybe I should have put that out there earlier. None of these people.
As a matter of fact, in the test, in the webpage for this, they tell you that if you're actually doing this test, then that probably means a good thing, and you're on your way to hopefully being a better version of yourself.
Well, which is great, because you and I both took this test, and we'll reveal that later.
I'm glad that you think that way.
So yeah, he's arrogant, he's vain, he's obsessed with loyalty, he wants praise, and you don't criticize Trump, right? Or you get both barrels, right?
Yeah, usually.
And again, I said through observed behavior in business and politics, President Trump, a lot of people say, exhibit all three traits associated with the Dark Triad. His narcissism is evident in his grand self-image, constant need for admiration, and sensitivity to criticism.
I think that's my number one for him.
The criticism thing?
The narcissism is like number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it. He often displays arrogance, impulsiveness, and exaggeration of his achievements. Maybe debatable. His Machiavellian tendencies emerge in his strategic manipulation, willingness to bend the truth, maybe, some would say that, and some would say his focus on personal gain over ethics.
I would say that.
I'm trying to be very careful here, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to isolate anybody. Some experts suggest he also demonstrates psychopathic traits, including impulsivity and a lack of empathy, with studies even ranking him... Hold on, let me get a drink. With some studies ranking him even higher than Adolf Hitler on psychopathy scales.
Well, it's definitely in the impulsiveness. I get that.
I'm just going to skate right on by that one. While these assessments are based on public behavior, remember, he's not diagnosed. He wasn't tested for this stuff. There's no formal Dark Triad diagnosis on Donald Trump. His actions have led many to view him as a prominent example of all three triad traits in political leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this next one, I would agree with. Bernie Madoff. Remember Madoff, this fuck?
Football guy?
No.
What is this guy?
The architect of the largest Ponzi scheme in history.
Oh, that guy. Yes, I know. Yes. Okay.
He swindled this fucking jerk-off $65 billion out of people.
Yeah? Yeah.
Madoff convinced the world that he had this foolproof investment strategy, luring in everything from celebrities to pension funds. His narcissism, thinking he was untouchable, Machiavellianism, deceiving investors, and psychopathy, zero remorse for his actions, made Madoff the ultimate financial predator. He portrayed himself as this investment genius with exclusive market insight, demanding admiration while rejecting scrutiny. Don't look at what I'm doing here. Just trust me. Right? His Machiavellian deception was meticulously crafted. He abrogated bank statements and manipulated the financial system for decades. That should have been, he fabricated bank statements and manipulated the financial system for decades.
Yeah.
Even fooling financial regulators.
Yeah. I remember. It's kind of, the second you said the bank stuff, like, huge, I remember him now.
I think Nicolas Cage was victim. Madoff made Nicolas Cage broke. That's why he's doing all those movies.
Yeah, exactly. For a long, I think he just got out of his hole recently.
To come back.
It took a long time. It should be said also that, remember, Jay hasn't mentioned that intellect has anything to do with these three things. A lot of people associate a lot of things that people do, especially of the nature of these examples, like Madoff, like Trump, like other living examples and dead examples, of people orchestrating these huge things. And it has nothing to do with intelligence. Because
wonderful point.
The second you take empathy off, the second you don't give a shit about anybody, then everything seems a lot more easier to get away with because you don't care about the other person. You don't, like, we associate not giving a shit with being able to do more things. Like, no, we're just able to do things that we shouldn't be. And that's the problem. I think that people who kind of have these impulsivities and they cater to them, hand and foot, like these people we're talking about, in fact, are even dumber. The money bank accounts, they have nothing to show for it except for just disgrace every time. So, and for me, that's always the dumber choice. But it should be said that Jay has not mentioned smarts has anything to do with this.
Not once in here. You're right.
A lot of people confuse both.
Fantastic point.
You can be a psychopath and be dumb as shit. And you still get away with things that the smartest guy wouldn't do because the guy has empathy or whatever. That's the
Love it. Good. Now, Madoff's psychopathic lack of remorse was evident as his fraud wiped out people's entire life savings. It ruined charities, and it led to multiple suicides, including his own fucking son.
Really?
His own fucking son offed himself over this.
Wow.
And after Madoff was caught, and despite the devastation he caused, including death, he remained cold and emotionless during trial. This bastard got 150 years in prison, and he died in 2021. His name forever linked to financial fraud.
Yeah. I want to imagine having that last name.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Because I know I remember the name, and even if I didn't remember exactly who it was. But other people are not like me. Other people remember much better than me.
The biggest thing I remember from the story was the son killing himself because of the disgrace and everything. Yeah. That's fucking insane. I mean, it's sins of the father, right?
Yeah.
What about Vladimir Putin? Putin. Master of political chess, known for covert operations, disinformation campaigns, and manipulation. Putin operates through deception, secrecy, and strategic dominance, and his calculated, ruthless strategies have kept him in power for decades.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a dictatorship almost.
100%.
If not for real.
He exemplifies the Dark Triad traits through his leadership style and political tactics. His Machiavellian nature is evident in his use of disinformation, election interference, and the literal poisoning of political enemies to maintain control.
Yeah, I remember reading about that one journalist, for example. You also think of that political opponent, Vianney. I forgot his name. It starts with an N or a V.
I could see the picture of his face in my mind.
Yeah.
I just can't remember his name.
He didn't die, though, but he survived the poisoning. He survived the poisoning. He came over here, went back over there, then he was arrested, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where he is today.
Vianney?
I would be surprised if he's alive today.
I won't be I will be surprised, too. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he poisoned his political enemies. His psychopathic traits emerge in his lack of remorse for war crimes, assassinations, and the imprisonment of political opponents, with his government linked to countless murders of journalists, dissidents, political opponents, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, his narcissism is reflected in his carefully curated strongman image, reinforced through staged shirtless photos, military stunts, and propaganda.
You can almost see him like just arm wrestling people, just on a whim. Right.
Over the top, him and Stallone, right? Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of propaganda, just painting him as this invincible, irreplaceable ruler, right? Putin has effectively turned Russia into a dictatorship, to your point, crushing opposition and consolidating power almost indefinitely, it seems.
Well, until he dies.
Right.
That's the only great thing about this, is that everyone eventually dies.
Well, you know what? Here.
No one lives forever.
Cheers to that. Everyone dies.
Yeah.
Now, despite international condemnation, I mean, look what's happening now, his grip on Russia remains tighter than ever, with no end in sight.
Yeah.
Now, maybe my favorite part of this whole thing is when it really, all three come together in serial killers. We talked about some.
Yes.
Right? Psychopathy, Machiavellianism, big with the serial killers. Some killers act impulsively out of pure psychopathy, and that's it. But the most dangerous ones strategically plan. Mm-hmm. Serial killers typically display all three of these traits that we're talking about,
right?
Allowing them to avoid detection for years. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but John Wayne Gacy. We covered him extensively in episode 86. Listeners, go back and listen to episode 86. But Gacy was this highly manipulative narcissist who was hidden in plain sight. And he maintained a respected social image while committing horrific murders. His crimes showed a complete lack of empathy and remorse, subjecting victims to brutal torture and murder with chilling detachment. And even after his conviction, Gacy remained unrepentant. Actually, his final words, right before being killed, put to death, were "kiss my ass," just perfectly encapsulating his callousness and lack of guilt.
Right.
Gacy exemplified the Dark Triad traits of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, which allowed him to maintain this double life as a respected community figure while committing these horrific crimes. His narcissism was evident in the carefully crafted reputation he built as a successful businessman and a dedicated local politician with the JCs. Remember, he even met Rosalind Carter. He reinforced his friendly and trustworthy image by performing as the clown, Pogo, right, at children's events, further embedding himself within the community and masking his sinister nature. As a Machiavellian, Gacy was a master manipulator who used deception to evade justice while carrying out his murders. He skillfully maintained, again, this respected public image, luring victims by offering fake job opportunities, and even by impersonating police officers to gain victims' trust. I mean, this is the triad in perfect harmony. When some victims managed to escape, Gacy gaslit them, making them question their own experiences. Gacy meticulously Gacy meticulously calculated his crimes, ensuring minimal risk, while using manipulation tactics to mislead law enforcement and prolong his killing spree. His psychopathy, though, was perhaps the most chilling aspect of his personality. Lacking empathy and emotional remorse, he displayed extreme cruelty and a disturbing detachment from his actions. Gacy's crimes were methodically executed. He tortured and controlled his victims. He continued killing, even while under suspicion, and he arrogantly taunted police, all while maintaining his innocent, trustworthy facade. His ability to seamlessly shift between a community leader and a ruthless murderer made him one of the most terrifying serial killers in history. Ultimately, between 1972 and 1978, Gacy was convicted of murdering 33 young men and boys, making him one of America's most prolific serial killers.
Yeah.
He was executed by lethal injection on May 10, 1994, and his case remains a haunting example of how dark triad traits can manifest in extreme criminal behavior, allowing individuals like Gacy to manipulate, deceive, and kill without remorse. Dennis Rader, another perfect dark triad serial killer, the BTK.
Oh, okay.
Bind, torture, kill. Now, Dennis Rader, again, infamously known as BTK, bind, torture, kill.
I thought it meant Boris the Knife.
Boris the Knife.
That's not BTK?
Wasn't that a Rocky and Bullwinkle character?
Is it?
I don't know.
It just came out of my head.
Bro.
It just came out of my head. And I haven't thought of Rocky and Bullwinkle since the 80s. I don't know.
The whiskey's getting your brain going, bro.
Clearly, yeah.
So for nearly 30 years, Rader led this double life, presenting himself as literally a church-going family man and community leader while secretly committing some of the most sadistic murders ever recorded. Rader was obsessed with power, admiration, and recognition, especially. Narcissism, right? Mm-hmm. His narcissism was evident in how he controlled his victims, taunted the police, and constructed a respectable public image. Rader didn't just kill his victims, he played with them like a god, controlling their last moments. He forced victims into helpless submission before killing them, often drawing out their suffering for his own sense of dominance. For example, during the 1974 Otero family murders, Rader tied up the family and strangled them one by one, forcing them to watch each other die. Fucked up.
Damn.
His BTK moniker, again, bind, torture, kill, right, was a brand he carefully crafted to make himself infamous. He literally nicknamed himself. If that isn't pure narcissism, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and considering the fact that very few famous murderers, at least in the U.S., get a chance to name themselves.
Name themselves, yeah.
Like Zodiac and this guy, that's really it. That's not many. Yeah. There's not many.
Just what a shitty, you can't nickname yourself, dude. It's got to be given to you.
Well, he did it.
Cunt.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fine. He's a cunt.
I hate that word. Unlike other serial killers who tried to stay in the shadows, Rader wanted recognition. He sent letters to the media and the police, demanding that they acknowledge his crimes. Narcissist, right? Just like Gacy, Rader crafted this perfect public persona. He was married with children. He was the president of his church council. Yeah. And he had a career as a compliance officer. Narcissist. Now, as far as Machiavellianism, remember, Machiavellians are cold, strategic, and willing to manipulate others for their personal gain. Traits that Rader perfected over decades. And again, just like Gacy, Rader led this complete double life. He used his job as a compliance officer to intimidate others and exert authority. Got him off, which in turn fed that ego and that desire for control. He even helped plan community crime prevention programs. You can't make this up. Pretending to be concerned about safety while secretly committing the very crimes they were trying to stop.
Right.
Rader's cunning and patience made him more dangerous than most serial killers. He carefully stalked and planned his attacks, often waiting weeks or months before striking. He would study his victims. He'd slink into their homes and hide. He'd fucking hide in people's homes. And he'd prepare these hit kits. He'd bring rope and tape and weapons. And he'd lay in wait before attacking.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Lock your fucking doors, people.
Yeah.
Now, as far as psychopathy, do we even need to talk about the psychopathy?
I mean, it seems like you can't do any of these if you have no empathy.
Right, exactly. If you're not suffering psychopathy, right?
I almost feel like the most important important first hurdle to be considered dangerous is if your psychopathy is bad, because the empathy, I think, stops a lot of these problems most times.
Sure,
not every time, most times.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say it's a big
empathy.
A big key factor to the human understanding of life,
and to not be a fucking psycho.
Right,
is empathy.
Right. I mean, without that, if you have that, you're not a killer. Simple as that. Or not maybe as simple, but overall, pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But, again, psychopathy through and through. This guy is a psycho through and through. He didn't just kill, he made his victims suffer. He bound them in ways that prolonged their death. He enjoyed the fear and the pain, and he relished in forcing family members to watch each other die. The most sacred things he would destroy. And no remorse, zero remorse when caught.
Yeah.
He never apologized to victims or their victims' families.
Right.
And he even kept pictures and drawings of his crimes so he could relive again and again. Rader was arrested in 2005, and he confessed to 10 murders, though he's suspected of many more. He got 10 life terms without parole and remains in solitary confinement at the El Dorado Correctional Facility in El Dorado, Kansas. And still to this day, zero remorse.
I would have bet money that El Dorado was not in Kansas.
South America? I don't know.
Right, or New Mexico. You think, Arizona, maybe something. Kansas?
It's pretty funny.
I never would have imagined.
It's funny.
Could have given me 50 guesses on which state, and it would be the 50th state.
All right, let's talk about another serial killer. Let's bring it home with this serial killer stuff. 3 dark triads in one person. Ed Kemper.
Oh, yes, this guy.
Edmund Kemper. Gold star for sick fuck, this guy.
Yeah.
A narcissistic, psychopathic killer who toyed with authorities, and he saw himself as intellectually superior to everyone around him. He's also known as the co-ed killer. Mm-hmm. He's one of the most intelligent, manipulative, and terrifying serial killers in history. He had an IQ of 145, near genius. And he used his narcissistic ego, Machiavellian cunning, and psychopathic detachment to evade detection while committing some of the most brutal murders ever recorded. Now, for narcissism, Ed Kemper believed, as I said, that he was the most intelligent person in the room. And he was obsessed with his own intelligence and perceived superiority. He believed he was smarter than the cops, the public, and even the psychologists who would evaluate him. Yeah. He had, a near genius level IQ of 145, which was higher than most psychologists and law enforcement's officers
people in
investigating
general.
him.
Just people in general.
Right,
okay.
Right. Kemper believed he was too smart to get caught, which allowed him to interact with police without suspicion. And he actually frequented bars where police officers hung out. And he would engage in conversations with these cops about the ongoing murders they were investigating, his own murders. So he's saddled up right next to these cops, asking about the murders he's committing.
Yeah, that's ego.
Narcissism.
That's vanity.
Ego, exactly.
Yeah.
After his arrest, Kemper spoke in great detail about his crimes. No ounce of remorse. And it's because he wanted to be studied. He wanted to be remembered. He wanted to be like the specimen.
Narcissism,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Machiavellianism is all about manipulation.
Yeah.
Ed Kemper mastered it. His ability to deceive people and control situations allowed him to evade capture for years, even as he committed multiple brutal murders. And incredibly, he befriended the very cops investigating his crimes. Like I said, Kemper carefully crafted the image of this gentle giant. He stood at 6 feet 9 inches, over 250 pounds, just a beast. But even though he was physically imposing, he was polite. He was soft-spoken. He put people at ease. And that is a classic Machiavellian tactic, by the way.
Yeah.
He earned the nickname the co-ed killer because he would frequently pick up hitchhiking girls.
Right.
Presenting himself as this kind of protective older brother type.
Right.
Before revealing his true predatory, murderous nature. He'd chat, he'd laugh, he'd reassure his victims, and then boom, he'd strike suddenly and violently out of nowhere. Even after his arrest, many who knew Kemper refused to believe he was a serial killer, a testament to how effectively he manipulated those around him. And as far as psychopathy, oh man, if there was, a gold medal for psychopathy, Ed Kemper would have won it. He didn't just kill, he brutalized. Strangling, stabbing, decapitating, even engaging in necrophilia. Kemper demonstrated complete 100% detachment from human suffering. He mocked his victims. No remorse. He kept severed heads as trophies, and he talked to them like they were still alive. And Kemper's violence, it started early. He murdered his grandparents when he was a child. And later, he turned that murderous monster onto his own mother. In this sheer act of brutality. As she went to sleep, he caved her head in with a claw hammer, and he slit her throat. Then he decapitated her and engaged in oral sex with his mother's severed head.
Yikes.
And if that wasn't fucked up enough, he shoved her tongue and larynx into the garbage disposal. He placed her head on a shelf, and he screamed at it, they say, for an hour. He threw darts at his mother's head. And he destroyed it, smashed it to pieces with a hammer. He was as psychotic as they come.
Yeah, and that goes more than just no empathy. That's actually bonkers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like nut house kind of behavior.
It's not even human behavior. Why do you even... It's alien behavior.
Yeah, that's beyond... It's pure impulse. You're just reacting. Just constantly reacting to your own actions kind of thing, you know?
Fucked up, dude.
Also, I think we also associate this guy as, and rightfully so, because, you know, there's not a lot of, I don't know, serial killers are a different breed here in this country, but is that he offered, you know, he was so willing to talk about it, so willing to, I think we get a lot of great hay out of this guy because he was willing to be so open about what he had done, about who he is and what he is, that... He jumps up to the line as far as smartest / Machiavellianist / whatever.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying. I'm not saying that there aren't smarter serial killers. I'm not comparing them like that. I'm just saying that reason we got so much because he gave so much.
He was so willing.
Right.
Yeah, and in 73, he turned himself in, but not out of guilt, but simply because he was bored and saw no reason to continue with this murdering, right?
That's crazy.
It's fucked up. He was convicted of 10 murders, though the actual number may be a lot higher. He wanted the death penalty, but was instead sentenced to life. And again, just like the other guys, zero remorse to the
Well, that's how you get out of the death penalty. Just ask for it.
Yeah, right. Unless you want to get shot. They just killed... Was it today they killed that guy by firing squad?
I heard about it. Is that... I did hear about it. Was it yesterday?
I don't remember the fucking guy's name, but...
Yeah.
I think today they shot him. They killed him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Fuck him.
I remember.
Kemper's currently... just to kind of wrap up Kemper, he's serving his 8 life terms at the California Medical Facility in Vacaville. And here's a bizarre little twist.
You know Vacaville in Spanish is cow town?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Cow is vaca.
Oh, wow.
In Villestown.
So Kemper's in Cowtown.
Yeah, Cowtown. Anyway.
It seems fitting when you say that.
You say California, so it must be Hispanic. It must be a Spanish thing.
Interesting. Yeah. Cool.
Anyway, continue.
But I mean, life is stranger than fiction. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what they say? While behind bars, Kemper has recorded hundreds of audiobooks for a program called The Blind Project. So if you've ever listened to the audiobook form of Flowers in the Attic, The Glass Key, Merlin's Mirror, Petals on the Wind, The Rosemary Murders, or even Star Wars, you've heard the voice of one of the most deranged psychopaths in modern crime history.
That's crazy. I didn't know that about him. That's crazy.
Now, kind of to bring it all home, Dark Triad personalities in particular are dangerous because they blend in seamlessly in society. They use charm and deception to manipulate people around them. Recognizing the red flags from the Dark Triad is crucial for self-protection. Dark Triad personalities often exhibit charm and flattery, appearing too good to be true. A lack of empathy, another warning sign. These individuals remain cold and detached from other people's suffering. They manipulate and they gaslight and they twist reality to control narratives. Pathological lying is common, with frequent contradictions in their stories. And lastly, entitlement and arrogance define them, as they see themselves as above the rules. Being aware of these traits can help you identify and defend against their influence. So how do you protect yourself if you do come across a Dark Triad personality? Awareness, strong boundaries, decisive action. Trust your gut. If something feels off, don't dismiss it. These individuals thrive on deception, and your instincts can often pick up on subtle red flags before your rational mind catches up. The gut instinct.
Yeah.
Set firm boundaries with these people to avoid being drawn into their manipulative web. They'll test your limits, push for control, and they try to create emotional entanglement, so refusing to engage with these people is crucial. Seek external validation by cross-checking these people's claims with other people, as they frequently distort reality and twist facts, or they gaslight their targets. Never assume their version of events is accurate without independent confirmation. Be mindful of how much personal information you share with someone like this. Dark Triad individuals exploit vulnerabilities, using intimate details as leverage to manipulate and control you. The safest strategy is to cut ties fast. If you recognize clear signs of narcissism, Machiavellianism, or psychopathy, don't wait for proof. Distance yourself before you become entangled in their bullshit, their web of deceit. Walk away quickly. That'll save you from emotional, financial, psychological, or physical harm. Get away from these people. So the Dark Triad, again, it's the psychological roadmap to power and destruction. Understanding these traits, it's not just academic, it's a survival skill in a world where manipulation, deception, and ruthlessness often go unchecked. From Wall Street to the White House to Silicon Valley to serial killers, Dark Triad individuals have shaped history through deception, ruthlessness, and power-hungry ambition. Understanding these traits is key to recognizing them in leaders, co-workers, and even in romantic partners. The Dark Triad has changed how psychologists understand power, manipulation, and unethical behavior in everyday life. While not all individuals with these traits are criminals, they often rise to positions of influence, sometimes with destructive consequences.
Yeah. Is the part of the time where we're going to talk about our results?
We did take the test, so that's the Dark Triad. What do you?
I'm not gonna. I don't know how surprised this will be for you. What if I told you this sentence, Jay?
Yeah.
I think about. Now I didn't know it was called a Dark Triad. I didn't know this was a thing, mind you. Before you send me this, the topic. What if I told you I think about this all the time?
Think about
would it be surprising?
People like this?
No, like me. Like, am I insane? Am I? This, or is that guy that? Like, I think about this a lot in others and in myself. Like, do I have this? Am I,
Well, I think it shows self-awareness, which I think is something that would take you out of the Dark Triad.
You would hope so.
Concerned about being a person within a Dark Triad.
Anyway, but I do think a lot about this. I didn't know it was I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah,
like a measurement.
I would say you are empathetic for sure. Mm-hmm.
I fake it very well. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's one of the traits. Oh my God. You're Machiavellian.
I think you're going to go first though, because my answers are going to be much more fun.
Okay. Well, so you can take this test online, and Oscar and I took this test, the Dark Triad test, and I gotta say I did not necessarily agree with my test, but okay. So when I took, and I should probably leave the link in the show notes, right? maybe.
Oh, I thought you would. I thought you would already.
People would want to take the test. All right, I got to find that link again. It's been a while since I did this.
Well, you emailed it to me, so it's in the record somewhere.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing. Listeners, check the show notes. A lot of photos in there of these Dark Triad individuals. Yeah, I should have said it at the top of the show. Fuck. And I'll leave a link to the test so you can see if you're a Dark Triad person. Mm-hmm. So when I took the test, I scored low in psychopathy and narcissism. Thank God.
Okay.
But my Machiavellianism score was pretty high.
Now, there are numbers associated with this. Are you going to give the numbers?
Yeah, well, so I scored a 3.6 on Machiavellianism, and the average was 3.04, which that's a noticeable difference.
It is.
Okay?
Yes.
So now, according to the results, I have a somewhat cynical view of the world and may be drawn to power and status.
Okay.
It suggests that I'm relentless in my pursuits for professional and personal goals.
Okay.
The test says that I would do whatever is necessary to achieve those goals, even if it meant someone else had to suffer. But I don't buy that. While the test clarifies that this likely wouldn't involve physical harm, like I'm not going to fucking take out someone.
You mean like someone losing opportunity or someone?
I might
whatever.
manipulate things to make someone else lose and me win.
Right.
I'm not going to. But it says not by physical harm, so I'm not going to Nancy Kerrigan someone's ass. Right. Take out their knees. It just implies that I might justify actions like making a coworker look bad if it helped me secure a promotion.
Got it.
I don't agree.
I also wouldn't paint you that way, although you are a very motivated person in general. So I guess I can see how some of this could be seen that way.
Okay, fair. No, that's good. So the test also offers advice.
I also have never seen you work, though. So I really don't know.
I would say before I was very motivated.
I mean, I've seen your work ethic when we were both super young. I have to say, we're probably different people from that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't even say, oh, yeah, when I knew you as a bartender, you got to be the same worker. No way. I just don't imagine that's true anymore.
I would say definitely in the past, my professional career, I was definitely motivated, goal-orientated, wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
Now...
Well, you got beat down a little bit too
lately.
It's been it kind of shaped you a little bit different.
It's been the last year, 2 years have been really bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to give details here, but I just know.
But so the test also gives you advice. Mm-hmm. So
oh yeah, I remember that.
So to be less of a Machiavellian, I guess, to improve, I should be less self-serving and work on developing a more positive outlook while learning to trust others. I don't trust people. I don't. I always expect the worst. One suggestion was to start a gratitude journal, focusing outward rather than inward, recognizing the ways people in my life positively impact me rather than just counting my own blessings.
It's almost like self-affirmations, but from a different point of view.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah, maybe. Another recommendation is to pause before making decisions that could harm someone and ask, if I were in their position, how would this affect me? Which I do all the time. I always, it's the golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
I live by that.
Those are real golden rules for me too.
Yes. And it says, over time, this approach could help me build empathy while shifting my actions towards more balanced outcomes.
Yeah.
That said, again, I don't really agree with the results. Am I cynical? Absolutely.
Right.
Do I want money, power, and influence? Of course. Who doesn't? But I don't have those things.
Right.
At all.
Right.
So I think that proves I'm not willing to do anything to get them, like a Machiavellian.
Okay.
And I've never exploited anyone to advance myself. I wouldn't. That's just not how I was raised. So that was my test results.
You don't love mine.
Oh God! Do I need to pour more whiskey?
Yes.
I'm gonna at least screw off the cap.
I'm gonna read this in order. Okay. I'm just gonna read the whole thing. Okay. It's gonna be fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. In Machiavellianism, it's the worst score.
Okay, so we're the same.
I scored 4.0 out of 3.09. 04, sorry.
Okay,
so I'm a 4.0.
A noticeable difference.
In Machiavellianism. Yeah, so I'm a whole point higher than the average.
Okay.
Right? In Narcissism, out of 2.82, I scored 3.1.
Okay, yeah.
Slightly more.
Yeah.
Not a lot more, but more. Yeah. More than the average. In Psychopathy, out of 2.18,
come on,
I scored 3.7.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. Yeah, hold on. Don't worry. I'm not explaining everything. You just explained yourself. Hold on. I'm going to read the thing and then tell you why a lot of it's bullshit. You scored above the mean of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, which indicates that you exhibit the signs of some level of Dark Triad personality. Importantly, this does not necessarily mean that you exhibit strong Dark Triad behaviors. I know I don't.
Right. No. Indeed,
given that you're taking this test, which probably means you have an interest in self-improvement, you probably don't fulfill the most extreme criteria of... This is hedging its bets, by the way. He's like, please don't kill me. I understand you have all three. Don't kill me. Don't find me.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Right. However, you might notice that you do regard yourself highly and find it difficult to take constructive criticism, a symptom of narcissism, of course. Your tendency might be manipulatively cut corners at school or work if it means you'll succeed, a symptom of Machiavellianism. You're right, that is hard to say.
It sucks.
Anyway, and if cutting corners makes your peers look worse, their feelings might not matter too much to you, a symptom of psychopathy.
I don't see it.
This is everything it's saying to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the advice it gives. Fortunately, research gives us a way to improve. The trick is to build yourself a sense of compassion and empathy. This can be done in small steps. For instance, consider donating time or money to a volunteer organization that you would normally spend on yourself. Once a week, you can speak to a friend, family member, or stranger without bringing the conversation to focus on yourself. If you're struggling with a decision, no matter how big or small, genuinely ask a friend for advice. This kind of practice will help you build your empathy, modesty, and kindness. So, a lot of it is right, a lot of it's wrong.
A lot of it's wrong.
So you mentioned that golden rule.
Yes. Yeah, right.
That's literally what I told myself. I forced it in. But genuinely, no, I did not have it for a long time.
Have what? What do you mean?
I did not think of myself, that golden rule you mentioned, like do unto others only what you would do unto you.
This is a new thing for you?
No, the last 20 years, but not the first 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So because I remember I really, at some point, I hated myself in my 20s.
I think we've all gone through that.
Yeah, but
I'm going through it now.
And you're right, and it hits, and no matter how that feels to the person, it's different for every person. Everyone feels it differently in different levels, in different ways, right? It's snowflake. But it hit me hard. It felt hard to me, and it felt like I was becoming a real, genuine asshole, and like a real indifferent kind of guy. And I'm still very much indifferent. I usually don't give a shit about anything that happens. But I force myself to try to care and ask and do things, and it's become habit now, and it's fine, and I can do it. Where it says how cut corners to school or work, I do that all the time, but I do it so I can work less, not because
to screw someone else.
No, I would never screw anyone else.
Right.
I just want to do less. I just want to do more of what I want to do. Everything success means to me is hanging out, drinking,
absolutely,
fucking podcasting, and doing Legos. That is my goal. So I have very manageable, has nothing to do with hurting anybody else kind of goals. I don't want millions of dollars. I don't want power. Although if I do have it, I swear to God, kill me. I'm going to take advantage so hard.
At least you know.
Well, that's the thing is that I do know. That's the thing is I would know. I know that if I have power, I will take advantage. And that's not good because I have those thoughts. I've had those thoughts. And I will not let myself do that. Not that I've had a chance to have power or anything. Luckily, I'm a minority, so I'm really safe.
You are a minority. You're brown.
Yeah. So luckily, I'm safe from that. From gaining power. Anyway, I'm saying all these things I feel in my point. So, for example, I had this problem where I think comedy is a real big deal in my life. As you know, I make a lot of jokes. I had this problem where the grand majority of people I know, especially my exes, I had my biggest problem with my exes, all my exes, except for one, maybe, where I never found them funny.
Oh.
Like I would, in the heat of fighting, when you fight with an ex or a girlfriend, is that, sometimes you bring up each other's things. And one of the things I would often bring up, especially with one of them, I'm not going to name names, is that I would say, how every time I laugh and you're laughing because I make jokes? Those are my jokes. I've never laughed at anything you've ever said. Have you noticed that?
Ouch.
Hey, I've never laughed at anything you ever said.
Ouch.
Yeah, I said that once.
Oof.
And I pretty much mean that with every single person, except for one of them. And man, I really try to find that because to a lot of guys, narcissistically speaking, they would see, they were like, when they say, oh, I want a girl with a sense of humor, what they're really saying is that they want someone that laughs at their jokes. That's not my case. I genuinely want to laugh at their jokes. I just find it, and I don't mean just them, I mean everybody. I want to laugh at people's jokes. It's so rare.
It's
Wait.
But you said something really interesting there. That guys who say I want a girl who has a sense of humor, which is, you hear that all the time.
You hear that all the time.
But what they're really saying,
and I hate that about myself. I don't want to be that guy.
Is they want a woman who will laugh at.
And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I like to be self-aware enough to know that I don't want a vacuous thing either from that kind of relationship. I don't want that. I don't want to control over somebody like that.
See, that takes you right out of the triad right there.
Yeah, but that's like a default position of mine. Like that's my default also. Like I also don't care what the world's thinking all the time. So I also think everyone's stupid, including me. I think we're all stupid. No one's smart. Everyone's dumb. I just fucking hate everyone. I also don't trust anyone. I don't. So like a lot of these are similar. So these answers are not. This is not quite right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you need a whole another set of questions to kind of zero in on the nuances of these questions. That's what I was going to bring up, because it's not very nuanced. Because if you asked these questions 20 years ago, I would believe a lot more of this answer. But now, no. Even though I feel similarly in the way I answer those questions, So,
very interesting.
It's like, do you hate your job and want to move and like don't care of cutting corners? I'm like, yeah, of course I cut corners, but so I could do less, not because I want to fuck over somebody.
Right.
It's a different reason.
You're right.
It's a different reason for the question.
So you think the test is almost inherently flawed? It's flawed.
It is. It is. I kind of almost want to go through them one by one. We're not doing that, but I'm saying I almost want to kind of show what I was thinking in those answers, because it's not the same.
How many questions was it?
26, I think, or 20. Last 17.
That's a long time.
No, there was a few. I don't remember.
What were some of the questions? Could you remember could you get to some of the questions or no?
I took a screenshot of the thing.
We won't do dead air, but
no, we're not.
I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't mean to, but maybe you're right. Maybe the listeners should hear some of these questions.
Yeah,
if they're not going to go out and take it themselves.
It has 2 questions at least. It says something about secrets.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not wise to tell your secrets. I agree completely.
100%.
100%.
Oh, but that could be you're a serial killer trying to hide your alter ego.
For me, I just think it's fun. I think if it's fun, it's better when it comes up naturally in conversation. I will never tell you something, Jay, unless it naturally comes up in conversation. You know how many things I keep from people just to make a joke out of it 10 years later?
Damn,
it's so much fun.
I think that's psychopathic.
But it's for a joke. I just think it's fun.
No, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference right there. I'm not doing it because I'm hiding a dead body. I'm hiding the skill or the fact that I collected marbles for 2 years, like it's just for fun, not because you need to know, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny. That's what I'm saying. This shit is, people see me as a natural leader. No, definitely not.
So that's a question. People see me as a natural leader.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, okay. So I liked to get revenge on authorities. I put a little bit agree because I hate authority figures.
I think I put.
I hate being told what to
do.
No, slightly agree because I hate being told what to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is why I can't keep a job. I like to use clever manipulation to get my way. I do, but for jokes. I don't actually want to exploit you. I don't want your body. I don't want to take violence on you. I don't want your money.
I think I put no on that one too.
I'll do it just to make a joke better later. I'll do it to make a mom joke. I won't do it for anything important.
Dude, that's like Dennis Rader control with fucking jokes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
I hate being the center of attention. 100%. I hate 100%, that. Yeah. This is why I lost that's why my narcissism wasn't as high. Because of that.
I don't like being attention either. But yet we're podcasters, which is pretty funny.
Which is funny.
Right?
I mean a lot of people say also for males especially, they don't say it for females, but for males that podcasting is a form of therapy.
100%.
Right.
100% agree.
It's like instead of trying to get therapy, we're doing podcasting, which is a little bit true. Yeah, I think it's a little bit true for anyone that podcasts, not necessarily just men, but whatever.
Oh yeah, I would say not just men. Yeah.
I avoid dangerous situations. I put neutral because I've been on both sides on that. I mean, we've done outings for the SOS, where we put ourselves in danger.
Yeah.
I did a rave with a bunch of strangers in front of, like, come on. Whatever it takes, you must get the important people on your side. Nope, don't give a shit about that.
I think I put higher, like mostly agree or something on that one.
This is funny. Many group activities tend to be dull without me.
See, I scored. I don't think shit of myself. So
I did neutral because I usually would say, no, I don't give a shit about myself like that. But that's not true because I've often seen a room kind of light up a little bit when I make a joke. So I like doing that. So that's fun.
We love when you come here.
Thank you. Well, payback needs to be quick and nasty. No. Yeah, I like it slow and steady. That's why I put struggle is on that one.
Psychopath.
Yeah. Avoid direct conflict with others because they may be useful in the future.
So I put higher on that one.
Oh, I put neutral on mine.
Yeah, because you never know when you could use something like that.
You're right. Well, see, that's connection. That kind of thinking,
Never
right?
burn a bridge kind of thing.
I know that I am special because everyone keeps telling me so. No one tells me that shit. So I'm like, what is that? What kind of fantasy are you asking right now?
I ain't shit. I know I ain't shit.
I think my mom said it to me once, you know.
Pretty much. My mom, too. That's the only one.
People often say I'm out of control. And that one I a little bit agree. Because a lot of people tell me, what the fuck are you doing? Like, usually it's what the fuck am I saying? Like, why am I saying that? Look at the context around you. We're in a police precinct or whatever. You know, wherever we are. This is a church. This is a father of a church. And what are you saying that to him? You know, shit like that. I've done stuff like that. It's wise to keep track of information that can be used against people later.
Yeah, no. I like that.
For jokes, yes. But no, not really.
You never know. You never know. I put higher on that.
This is why kind of like access are our biggest thing for that, because you know them the most. So it's the most information you get. But I never really use it. I don't care.
Well, that's good.
You know, I just don't care.
You're better than I am.
But if they use it against me, though, revenge is revenge. So yes. So yes to that if it's used against me. Yes. Yeah. I like to get acquainted with important people. No, do not give a shit.
In the corporate world, I put higher on that one.
Yeah, I definitely put nothing. It's true that I can be mean to others. I said hell yeah on that one. Sometimes they do it for fun. Yes. Yep. But as a joke, of course. So I try to joke around it, but I am being mean. There's just one more I'm not going to go through because there is 27. So you should wait for the right time to get back at people. Sure.
What did I put for that one?
Yeah, I'll stop there. But
you should wait for the right time to get back at people.
Yeah.
I probably put that a little higher on mine.
All right, I'll stop there. But yeah, that's hopefully you get everyone out there can get a better understanding to my answers and why they sound worse than they really are. I hope. But I have been working on myself. I do work on myself a lot, but I am a canvas that's unfinished.
Dude, if you were a bad person, you would have never been let into my life. So,
dude, I know for a fact that if I definitely didn't start working on myself a long time ago, I would also agree with that statement.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't be here either.
I've known you.
And I wouldn't be here because I would find it boring, and I wouldn't care about you. But I do care about you. So.
Oh, I love you, man. Well, I mean, fucking the Dark Triad, man.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Triad. I found this on Instagram. I was scrolling through Instagram, and it popped up the Dark Triad. I'm like, oh, I want one. What is this? So then I Googled it. I'm like, oh, this is fucking interesting. And,
you're like, wait, there's a worse version of the gangs from China? That's right.
I got you.
Yeah.
And so I hope you liked it. It was a lot to put together.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's the psychology behind it is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Cool. We still have time to hit the bar.
Yeah, we do.
If you want to hit the bar.
That's cool.
Oscar, will you please take us home?
Will do.
Machiavellianism or Machiavellianism? Machiavellianism or Machiavellianism? Machiavellianism. Machia.
I don't know if you're asking me or you're practicing.
I'm kind of asking. I think I'm just going to say Machiavellianism. Machiavellianism, but Machiavellianism. Well, what are you going to do?
What are you gonna do?
But yeah,
I'm just worried about sending him more files through there. Yeah,
I get it. Remember, Severo got caught that time.
Yeah, and I told you that one time I did get caught myself, but I managed to talk my way out of it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What movie? Do you remember?
It was an Ethan Hawke movie. I forgot the name of it, but it was the one where he was a drone pilot for the military.
Oh wow!
I forgot the name of it.
Severo's was the cobbler.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember that conversation.
He got hit. I don't think it was like 10,000.
10,000.
It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money.
They really cracked down on that shit. It's really.
I get it.
I don't.
It's illegal. I get it.
I think it's because something's illegal. They feel like they can do whatever they want with it. You know?
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. I don't think that punishment fits that crime. You know.
It's a big punishment. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've been cracking on it lately. I've been hearing things, so I'm like, I'm not going to risk it.
I get it.
for that particular biscuit.
Cool. Hello. Hello. Machiavellianism. Machi or maca?
It's E.
Machiavellianism?
Yeah.
Really?
Machiavelli.
Machiavellianism.
Yeah.
That's ugly. It's an ugly word.
Well, Machiavelli is not an ugly word. It's a name.
I think it's ugly too. I don't like the way it's pronounced.
You never seen Merchant of Venice?
I have not.
Or read it?
No. No, sir.
It's about your people.
Oh. The Moors?
No.
Gene Hackman. Too soon? I think it's too soon.
What's too soon?
Gene Hackman.
What do you mean it's too soon? To make a joke?
Mm-hmm.
You made a joke a day after Heath Ledger died.
How do you remember that?
I don't know, but something stick. And that one stuck.
I guess so.
So I will say that no, it's not too soon. Nothing's too soon. He's dead. Doesn't give a shit. It's that person.
It's mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious death though. Very weird death.
It's mysterious. That's what I'm saying.
His dog and his wife. Right. We're doing a double marathon. Right. We just started back on the show. Our episode just came out Wednesday, and we're doing a double marathon of Gene Hackman and David Lynch, who died a month ago.
Oh, right.
A little over a month ago.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's,
So I'm making the boys watch the weirdest Lynch. I'm going with Weird Lynch. I know all his movies are weird, but he has, believe it or not, some normal movies.
Which one are you going with?
Inland Empire.
Oh. I have a friend who lives in the Inland Empire.
Nice.
California.
And the Lost Highway. I think those are two.
Nice. That was a good soundtrack.
Yes, it was a good soundtrack. I remember it vaguely.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it though. So.
A lot of...
And Luke doesn't know anything, so he just picks the two biggest movies. I'm gonna pick Wild at Heart and Blue Velvet. I'm like, okay.
Poor Luke.
And then Rob, I don't know what Rob picked. Rob is going weird too.
I feel like there's a lot of weird selections for that guy.
Mm-hmm. I know what he went for. He went for Eraserhead, which is his first movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that.
His first real actual movie. And then apparently he did a lot of short films in the last 20 years.
Wow.
That's why he didn't make a movie. I guess he was just doing shorts and having fun. So Rob is going to do a compilation of his shorts, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool, yeah. Because those I haven't seen much. I've seen like one or two. So.
Cool, man.
Be great. So yeah, so we're doing a little what do you call it?
Death marathon?
Admiration. No, like,
there you go.
We love those guys. I love them.
In memoriam?
I love both, yes.
In memoriam? Memory?
In my Machiavellianism.
Oh, Machiavellianism.
Yeah, and that. Mm-hmm. Why do you hate that word?
It just doesn't roll off.
Is there a word like that you also hate that you can think?
Coral.
That's a name.
Dean Coral. I just don't like to say it.
Yeah, I remember that episode. That
it's abrasive on my...
On your chords?
In my larynx.
On your chords?
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, that joke killed. I said that joke to someone.
Which one?
I forget what word it was, but I said, so let's just say it's charisma. I said, it's actually not pronounced that way. It's actually charisma. But I said it's super deadpan serious, right? And she totally, busted out laughing, like, oh, it wasn't that funny.
Calm down, bitch.
Yeah. It was great. It was
nice.
I enjoy the laughter.
I enjoy laughter as well. I also enjoy drinking, sleeping, and traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So I say after this, we travel and leave and go away.
Yeah.
Forever and ever, amen. Which one's this?
Will you to start?
I don't know, are you?
Sure. We can warm up a bit more. I mean, you don't want to bring bad energy to the show, right?
No. No bad energy.
If you're not waking up, I can crack you on the head with this bottle.
I know, right? I'm excited to try this. It's supposed to be very good. Even though it is a fucking screw top. Cunts.
Maybe it's a state-sponsored Missourian screw top.
Did that come out okay, or did they all sound all right?
What do you mean sound all right? Yeah.
I was explaining it and stuff.
You mean what you wrote is okay? I mean the content or the quality of the sound?
Like the way I was saying it.
Oh, you sounded fine.
It was fine?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
because the
off.
quality... I'm kidding, you're fine.
I feel like I'm way off, and I got fucking 15 pages to get through. I love this.
Sound like a machine gun.
I don't like that it's a screw top. I don't.
No one does.
That's a few points off for me, to be honest.
Out of what? Out of 10?
Yeah. I would give it like an 8 now. No, like a 9.5. Because I love this.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't, but I get it. It's the equivalent of a girl getting the ick on a guy. I get it. It's something ridiculous and dumb or small, but you can't help it.
What are you smoking? What flavor?
Something Caribbean. I don't know, something.
Bro.
Caribbean
Ready?
punch.
I'm going to pour more. Pour some more?
Yes, please.
Is that how you people say it? Pour some more?
No, we just grab the bottle and do it.
It's a play on Archie Bunker. His Hispanic friend was saying, por favor, and Archie Bunker's like, yeah, pour some more. Fucking love that guy. Carol O'Connor.
Of course you do.
Him and Al Bundy. Oh, Oscar. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I don't know. With what?
The fact that they put this wonderful bottle underneath a screw cap.
Will you get over it? Don't.
Machiavellianism.
Ready?